Well, hello, everyone. This is Anita from Finding Your Financial Voice podcast. Of course, I'm the host. But welcome to this podcast where the mission of the podcast is always to give you sound financial tips that can help you implement immediately, allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. I'm excited about today's recording. And if you have not been listening to our podcast, you are really missing out. We are in our third season, and this will be our fourth episode, and it'll be the last one for this year, the 2021 year, last one for this season as well. And next year, we'll be going into our new season. We'll be going into our second year of this podcast, and I'm excited about it. Also, we'll be going into our fifth year for our Finding Your Financial Voice. The Affluence Financial Fitness magazine, right? And I'm hoping that you have gotten the magazine. Our current issue, of course, will come out in January, which will be our fifth issue. And we're going to be talking about men and women, kings and queens of finance. So we'll probably do a couple of interviews here too as well for next month. But right now, what I want to talk about is about Christmas, it's about the holidays. This is the season for holiday get-togethers, holiday cookies, holiday trees, Christmas trees, Hanukkah, all of those things, Kwanzaa, all of those things happen around this time of the year. And sometimes we get a little anxious about the season. We're a little anxious. And so if you haven't noticed, we do have a book out called Christmas Past, Present, and Future. Tis the season to be frustrated. Tis the season to be frustrated. Now, this particular podcast is titled Coming Home. Okay, so what I'm going to do is read a few chapters, things from the book, that there were 5 or 6 authors in this book. And what I want to do is read a couple of things from this book. I'm going to give you the author's name, of course, and then you can always get this book on Amazon. I believe this book may be about $15 on Amazon, plus whatever shipping that you have to wherever you are. But this book has great stories in it. And the stories talk about the people and they're coming to the meeting with their Christmas, with their holidays and their Christmas and spending money and being overwhelmed with some things. I know I teach a class called Budgeting for the Holidays. And it's a really good class because people overspend. They think they need to buy the best gifts. They need to do the best things. And so that's not always true. Now, in this book, and I know the chapter that I wrote, I talk about how frustrating it can be around the holidays and how anxiety has set in. And it's really talking about me as a single parent and just wanting to throw Christmas and holidays away. To this day, I do not celebrate any holiday, nothing with a religious belief. I just don't celebrate it. I think they are too commercialized, and that's just me, my own personal opinion. Now, because you celebrate does not mean that I won't help you or I won't be happy for you that you celebrate, because I'm very happy that you celebrate. But I know for myself that I don't. So I'm going to read you a passage. I'm going to actually dedicate this episode to a friend of mine who passed away. There was 2 people actually that I'm going to miss during this holiday season. One, of course, is my dad. He died in April of this year. The other is my friend Phyllis. And Phyllis Clemens, this is actually dedicated. This episode is actually dedicated to her because she wrote in this book. She wrote a chapter in this book. So I'm going to start not with mine, but I'm going to start off with hers. And Phyllis she was a certified coach, author, book publisher who inspires everybody. She had the best smile. She was the president of the Sunshine Solutions Enterprise. And she had the greatest smiles. And she's the founder of a group called Coffee and Conversation, where I met a lot of people. There are a lot of women. And we talked about different kinds of things. She had conversations about all kinds of things, it was just a fun group, and I remember when she started it at her home. I didn't know Phyllis at the time, but I remember going to her home, and that it turned into some really, really huge. I know at some point in time, if I'm not mistaken, she wanted to uh, navigate that out to other places and things like that. But Phyllis, she died earlier this year. And to hear the news was devastating to me, because I was like, she's so young and she's so vibrant, and why? But we don't know why, and it wasn't for us to know. It is for our maker to know, and he or she called her home. So what I'm going to do right now is read a couple paragraphs from her chapter. Her chapter is Home for the Holidays. And I think that's the name of this episode, is Home for the Holidays. Home for the Holidays. I had no idea that. I forgot this was even in here from her, Home for the Holidays, before I named this episode. So let me just, and again here, you can get this book. It's called Christmas Past, Present, and Future. 'Tis the Season to Be Frustrated. So let me start off with a quote that she wrote in her book. It says, too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. And that quote came from Will Smith. Now, my dad used to say, we buy things to impress people we don't like. Okay. But here, Will says, too many people spend money that haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. And that's from Will Smith. Now, if you purchase the book, you'll be able to see where Will Smith has a bunch of, actually quite a few quotes. And Phyllis had actually put the reference in here. So that's something that you can go and you can read about. So she goes on to say, I'm going to read this particular paragraph. Says, what does this quote say to you? And think about what that quote says to you. You buy things, you spend money to impress people you don't like. We spend money that we don't have. This one says we don't have, we haven't earned it, to impress people, to do things we don't want, to impress people we don't like. And that's really an interesting concept. Are you doing that? Are you really, really doing it? You have to think about that. Think about that for a moment. So what does this quote talk to you? What does it say to you? Now, if you want to actually give us a call, give us an email, you can email us at moneywisdomforwomen.com or anitafinancialbehaviors.com. And we will answer any of your questions. You can always go on my website, join the mailing list. Once you join the mailing list, you get a download of a book called Big Girls Don't Cry. That's one of my first books that I ever wrote. You get that download. And it talks about 10 things for financial security. And one of them is completing a financial spending plan. And you're going to need that. Okay? So let me get back to the book. This quote brings back home. Now, this is Phyllis talking to you in this book. This quote brings back so many memories of quick quotes and stories about money and material things my parents shared with us growing up. I was fortunate to have two loving and happily married parents. It's important to them that we learn things that would not only allow us to be the best people we could be, but also to understand what it takes to survive and thrive. One of the things they felt was crucial for us to learn about the mechanics of managing money. This was important for us to know because money is the resource we need to not only to survive, but to create life we will enjoy. Now, let me read that one more time. Let me go back because I think I may have missed something. So I want to make sure that let me read this last quote. This is important for us to know. I'm going to go back one more sentence. One of the things that we felt was critical for us, our parents, was for us to learn about the mechanics of managing money. This was important for us to know because money is the resource we need not only to survive, but to create a life we will enjoy. Now, let's think about that for a moment. A life that you will enjoy. A life you will enjoy. Now, I do a lot of teaching and all kinds of things of that nature. And one of the things is I talk about your financial DNA and where you learned things about your money. What did you see your parents do? Was there arguments? Was it this? And this has grown into your life and how you handle money. And Phyllis is talking about here in this chapter, Home for the Holidays, is talk about how her parents wanted her and her siblings to learn about money, the mechanics of managing money, so that they could have the best life, best places that they would like to eat, best places they would like, whatever that best looks like for you. Your best is not my best. If you decide, okay, I got lots of money or whatever, but I decide to live in this area, that's up to you. But I decide to live somewhere else, some other place, that's up to me. So the best life that you want to learn, that you want to have, not anybody else, but you. So I'm gonna go to the next step. So what does this have to do with shopping for Christmas, you might ask? And I want to read this story. I want to kind of paraphrase this story for you. Phyllis is talking about how as a kid, her parents would do some exciting things for the holidays, and that it would be great. It was just great for them to have their parents to make it just be as a great experience for them, doing the cookies, talking about Santa. And of course, a lot of this was influenced, of course, by the media. And it really does, the media really does. So she talks about how for years that there were rituals about the list and the writing the letters and all this other things. And then bam, she finds out there's no such thing as Santa, right? Bam, hit me over the head. Of course, she says that she was devastated and that her parents were a matter of fact about it when they told them, and they worked together to have fun all the time. The connection here is actually budget, what they would spend during the holidays. One would think that was one of the great display of money management, that I would have no issues when I shop for holidays. So what Phyllis talked about in this chapter was how, as one of the older siblings, she would be responsible. She thought she would be responsible for making sure that the younger siblings got exactly what they want or needed at Christmas time. Whatever it is, no matter how about going into debt. She says, I wanted to give them the things they wanted the most, and I didn't see anything wrong with going into debt to do that. Although her parents didn't do that, the influence of people I worked and socialized with and was promoted through the media as being the norm during the holiday season. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So she found herself in too much debt, trying to create a lifestyle based off the commercialism and time of the year that really was meant to be all about the significance of family and faith. Family and faith. Now, talked about how she transitioned from going into credit card debt during the holiday to budgeting her holiday spending and her shopping like Black Friday, and maybe even putting a couple things on layaway. And so she chose to celebrate Kwanzaa. For nearly a decade, she has participated in the week-long celebration. So here we talk about Phyllis. And here again, I want to make sure that you guys understand that Phyllis wrote this chapter. This book was written, let me see the exact date that this book was written. And it was written around the holiday season. I'm trying to see what year. Oh, I'm sorry, 2019. Wow, this book has been out for a little while. 2019, 2 years. And so Phyllis passed this last year. And this particular episode is dedicated to Phyllis because she wrote about this in her book. And so here she is talking about how devastated she was when she found out there was no such thing as Santa Claus. And then how she basically wanted to, as an older sibling, to make sure that the younger siblings got exactly what they wanted on this holiday season. And she got into debt. Then she realized later on that it was not for her. She got out of debt, and then she basically made sure that the holiday season was what it was meant to be, between family and faith. Now I'm going to stop right here with Phyllis's, and I'm going to pause, and we're going to put a little commercial break in here because I want to make sure that you know that there is great special going on for you right now. And it has to do with you coming to the grips of your own financial insecurities and own financial securities. What do you have to do? And we got this great membership that's going to be coming up. And I'm going to stop talking and let the commercial roll. I'll be back.
Money Wisdom for Women is having another membership drive, and you don't want to miss it. You can register to become a member of Money Wisdom for Women. Founder Anita R Johnson created Money Wisdom for Women membership to equip women with wealth building skills, allowing them to leave a legacy for their children. Signing up for membership is easy. Go to www.moneywisdomforwomen.com to sign up for these life-changing services today.
Well, glad that you are back. And again, my name is Anita Johnson, and I am your host from Finding Your Financial Voice podcast, where the mission of the podcast is always to give you sound financial tips that you can immediately implement, and so that you can leave a legacy for your family. And what we're talking about today is from our book, Christmas Past, Present, and Future. 'Tis the season to be frustrated. And I just got through, and I have dedicated this particular episode to my friend Phyllis Clemens, who actually passed this year. And she actually wrote a chapter in this book. And if you have not purchased the book, you can get this book on Amazon. You get this book on Amazon, and you could read about what Phyllis talked about when she talked about Christmas. Now, the next one I'm going to read will probably be the one that I wrote. And I probably don't need to read it because I probably already know what it is. And the title of it is called Scrooge. Scrooge. Bah humbug, right? And I am a financial behaviorist, if you don't know. And let me tell you something. I guess I've been just too real with my children. I guess because I was a single parent trying to go to school at the time. Of course, I've been married, but at that particular time, taking care of two children, both of them under 13, and trying to deal with the fact of Christmas or the holidays or any of those kinds of things, it just did not sit well with me. And I think one of the things, because I am a financial behaviorist, I don't celebrate holidays. And I don't celebrate holidays for several reasons. Nothing with or any religious belief. All right. And I don't condone or condemn other people for celebrating holidays. I just don't do it. I think all holidays are too commercialized, and I think it hurts people financially, especially during this time of the year when people are trying to get these gifts and then they go into debt trying to do this thing, and then they're still paying for it the following year. Here comes this holiday rolling around again, all those kinds of things. So let me just talk about this. This is a chapter called Scrooge, right? So let me be real with you. I have never and never will like the concept of Christmas. Simple as that. It's not the fact that Jesus is supposed to be born around this date, according to some religious people, but in the fact that the particular holiday brings out the greed in people. Before you go calling someone to pick me up and put me away for not giving Christ his just due, let me give you some background. Okay, I want to give you a little background. Now, this is me reading my chapter. I was raised in the South in a traditional Christian family where the law of the land was celebrate Thanksgiving, where the Indians wanted their land back, and that's another book. The norm was Christmas and made up Santa Claus, just like the birth of Christ. Santa, I still don't get it. I still don't get it, right? I'm not sure who created these traditions, but for me, I wasn't having it. Sure, as a kid, I was engaged in a whole lot of Christmas celebration. I even played Mary in a just Christmas play at the church, Shiloh Baptist Church, Oakdale, Louisiana. I did the poems and sang songs. Boy, my parents were proud of me for me, and I, for one, was not impressed. Okay, I was just not impressed. Let's fast forward to me electing to become a single parent to children who were under the age of 10. Of course, this whole idea of Santa was in the wind, and responsibility was carrying on for these two growing children was not laced with fairy tales that included the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, and Santa. Along with any other false tales we tell our children to make them be nice. I found it sounds like a little angry woman. But truly, I'm not. I'm a realist. I already told my daughter there's no such thing as Santa. Next, it was to tell my son. He was a little harder to convince, but eventually it happened. I told him, there's no such thing as Santa. The only Santa in this house is me. Now you get this one big Christmas thing, I'll buy you stuff all year long. Yes, I hear you, calling me Scrooge. I'm just a realist, which comes to the life. As a single parent, I wanted my children to know the difference between real life and a bubble most children live in. Maybe it's my own upbringing. My dad spoiled me. Living the life gave me a false sense of reality about money when I got married. I didn't want my children. I always told them reality, whether it's about money, sex, their bodies, etc. In my view, that turned out well. Who knows? They may need therapy. My children are adults now. They celebrate a healthy, balanced life. We celebrate Christmas in a healthy, balanced way. My daughter likes to go out, but she's reasonable. Of course, my son spoils his daughter, but he's reasonable. I still think the season is too commercialized. I believe people spend too much money to impress people they don't like, including family members. I urge people to analyze what they're spending so much money during this time of the year. Remember, 3 weeks after Christmas, the toys and the gifts are forgotten and the credit card bills are becoming due and life resumes. Now, that is my chapter. That's how I feel. And I still feel this way about Christmas and all these. And if you don't have this book, it is imperative that you can get this book after Christmas. It doesn't matter, after the holidays. You can get it after the holidays. I really don't care. But I think you should read some of the stories about some of the people. Phyllis, for one. There's one in there from J.R. Spence. There's one in for Andrea Landry. As they talk about these things that bring them to their adult life when it came to the Christmas holiday. I think that's important for us to know how it comes apart. Now, I'm going to take one more commercial break, and I'll read one more story, and then we will adjourn for the next season. Be right back.
Financial literacy is important for our communities. There are people that can help you gain the knowledge you need to improve you and your family's finances. Anita R Johnson is one of those people. She's a financial behaviorist and a best-selling author. She's developed a yearly program meant to help you gain financial literacy. Yearly benefits include Affluence Financial Fitness for Women digital magazine, a quarterly issue, access to members-only website and Facebook page, quarterly Zoom webinars, the Itty Bitty Book of Financial Affirmation, vendors that offer quarterly discounts, financial tips of the month, 2 no-cost consultations up to 15 minutes per year, weekly Facebook Live financial tips, quarterly 45-minute Zoom group calls. Beginning January 2021, Take advantage of their membership drive. Normal yearly rate is $230, but for the month of January, beginning January 1st till January 31st, you can receive a 25% off discount that totals $57.50 worth of savings. All of those benefits at a discounted rate, especially for you. Start the new year right. Take advantage of the membership drive. For more information, contact Anita Financial Behaviorist at gmail.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm going to read you one more. I'm going to go through one, and I'm going to read this one from Andrea Landry, Wellness Diva, and it's called The Naughty List. Wow. And Andrea is actually, she was my partner in this book. She helped put this book together, and she and I have another book together called Being Broke is Maddening. Being Broke is Maddening. And if you have not gotten that book also is in Amazon. You could actually get that at Amazon. And I think she and I have written at least 4 to 5 books together. So you can go and put her name in, put my name in, and you can see all the books that we've written. And so let me read you what she says. It says, I love the concept of Christmas, peace and joy to the world, practicing forgiveness and showing your will to all towards all mankind. There are attributes should be utilized daily, but most people don't focus on them until there's an emergency or Christmas. Traditionally, my family had a big tree with beautiful decorations, presents that magically appeared on Christmas Day. Now, my mom didn't promote Santa, but she didn't openly let me know that she bought the gifts and enlisted my older sister and brother to help them wrap. Mom didn't go into explaining that Jesus was the reason for the season or had some white dude drop off all the gifts. We just enjoyed each other and opened the gifts and then played all day long. I learned about Santa from holiday cartoons and neighborhood kids. When I asked Mom about Santa, she laughed and ignored the question. I learned December 25th was Jesus' birthday after my older sister took me to church. Mom didn't like to talk about it, religion, so Jesus and his birthday was never a topic of discussion. This was my Christmas origins. She says, Michael Jackson sings, Santa Claus is coming to town, reminding everyone that Santa makes a list, determine who's naughty and who's nice. When I matured, I wanted to be on the naughty list because the naughty people are like blondes and they have more fun. I thought the way until Christmas gifts and the tree became a big deal for my children. My firstborn son, a true wonder to behold. When he was teething, he ate wood on the first tree, and he ate the tree. This is funny. I love it. She also she tried to create her own Christmas traditions. She taught the boys about Santa, but to teach them about Jesus, she watched holiday movies, sung Christmas songs, read the book about Jesus in the Bible. We didn't celebrate Christmas we didn't. I usually had to work on Christmas Day. So they had to visit their father. When I married my husband, number 2, she says, our traditions changed a bit. I renegotiated my time with the boys and their fathers. We shared Christmas Day, meaning the first half of the day I had them. The other half was challenging because the boys had to leave. We often were homeless after she got on the naughty list. After she divorced, she says, the naughty list came true. Because believe me, it was not fun. It seemed as though I could never get ahead financially. I had difficulty keeping a job, keeping a place to live, keeping my sanity. Christmas became a real challenge. We often were homeless. One year I remember trying to win money from a radio contest. I came very close to winning. When I got the word wrong in the response and lost the money, the DJ felt bad for me and referred me to the company that was sponsoring needy families. We're invited to the company Christmas party, received gifts, this organization, and my family. We arrived we were very humiliated. We were put on display as if, look at the poor Black family that can't help themselves. I vowed never to do this to my kids again. By this time, the boys were in high school age, and I was able to do a few things. I got an apartment. I worked several jobs at once. I went shopping year round. Every so often, I would make Black Friday shopping with shopping. Take them to Black Friday. They hated getting up early, fighting through the huge crowds just to get a gift. Now that they are grown, I learned to shop wiser. No more Black Friday shopping. I shop online for gift cards. I still like to go out and swap and meet yard sales, but I find most unique gifts that way. But usually I browse all year and find things I snatch away until the perfect moment I can give them to this gift. I no longer feel like I'm on the naughty list. I feel blessed that I can embrace the season, the reason for the season, which is Jesus. Now that came from Andrea, and she loves what she does here. She loves the holiday, but she had a rough time herself with the holidays. So you got 2 or 3 different perspectives of the Christmas holiday here. And then part of this, and so here again, this book is called Christmas Past, Present, and Future. 'Tis the season to be frustrated. So what I want you to do is I really want you to think about this. The reason why I read these passages in this book is because these passages hit a lot of people. We have a lot of people that follow us, and it can hit you. And if you're feeling like you cannot get past the craziness for the holidays or whatever that might be for you, you can. You can. You just have to remember it is just not that important, because December 26th is coming, right? Yes, December 25th is coming. It's going to be crowded and this and that, and you can't find a table, you can't find a parking space, blah, blah, blah. But December 26th is coming. The day's going to pass. The day is going to pass. Think about non-monetary you can do for people. Gift cards you can give people. Think about those things as opposed to some of the other things. Some of the other things you think you may need to give to other folks. So again, my name is Anita Johnson, and I want to thank you for listening to the Find Your Financial Voice podcast. I'm your host, and we've talked about bringing the holidays home, coming home for the holidays. I read you 3 passages from the book, Christmas Past, Present, and Future. 'Tis the season to be frustrated. We do not want you to be frustrated. I do not want you to be frustrated. I do not want you to spend a lot of money. I want you to think about it and budget well. Plan well for your holidays. Plan well. If you celebrate, that's fine. Other people don't. I don't celebrate. Some people do. But plan well your holidays. It's not over until it's over. All right? So thank you for listening. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm your host. And make sure you listen to us on our next podcast. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.